Attention all subjects. The Warlord is back again, baby. And he's done more racing for the first time in a while. Not your rotten, mobile scrapyards and health insurance schemes here. Nah son, these are some sublime, state-of-the-art, sexy and awesome JDM cars, mofo. And the cars are not the only things worth looking at, if you know what I mean. Anywho's, may all of you be so kind as to shut the fuck up, sit down, and stop what the hell you are doing and listen to the Warlord's latest broadcast to his most loyal, convulsing masses. And have a nice day. Oh, one last thing. Don't do any of this shit you see on screen in the real world. Wear a seatbelt, obey all traffic laws, and if you want to race, do it on the track or in a video game, got it? The Warlord doesn't have the dough to get any of the silly motherfuckers who didn't listen to this warning out of the joint. Now, car thing.
Street Racing Syndicate. The seedier, sexier rival of Need for Speed Underground 2. A street racing, crime and dating simulation game.
Hey baby.
It was produced by Namco, known for that one arcade game in 1980. That one, and the Ridge Racer series, and produced by Eutechnics, known infamously for this dumpster fire. That'll hopefully be the last time I'll ever raise that game up again. Hopefully. It was released during the best console generation of all time. You should know this by now, the glorious 6th generation. Street Racing Syndicate was unleashed to the world on August 31st, 2004 for the almighty original Xbox, the crappy PS2, the not so bad Nintendo GameCube, and Windows PCs. And then later, on October 5th, 2005, was released for... Really? The Game Boy Advance? Okay. Released at the height of popularity for underground street racing games, it was made to compete against Need for Speed Underground 2. It didn't do very well. Gaining a reputation as the Need for Speed we have at home. Without its sex appeal, I'm sure some people tried hard to hide from their parents back in the day. Personally, I've never had any experience with this game, though I remember seeing the box art in passing a few times. Spent more time playing Burnout 3 luckily, and upon the game's release, it received a very average review score, but pure and simple nostalgia and people who bought and played this game for more than 2 hours state otherwise. The modding of exclusively Japanese cars with real-world body kits and gear, winning bank from bets at the races and getting the many girlfriends, confirming this is all a fantasy game. But considering the plethora of other and, let's be honest, far better street racing and formal racing games, is this game really worth your time and hard-earned loot? All £2.09 is worth of it? What do I think? Well, stay tuned and find out. And see the Warlord do some sick drifts, intentionally or otherwise. Apply anime and its occultic power to my sick ride. And finally see the Warlord get a girlfriend.
I like you.
Now sit back, relax, and be so kindly to shut up and enjoy the street racing cult classic of Street Racing Syndicate. So as soon as you boot up the game, yep, there is women on the screen. Many seductive bikini-wearing women many younger players back in the day had to hide from their parents. I had a few cars in case you were wondering what kind of game you think you were playing. And that rap soundtrack I turned off straight away to avoid the YouTuber censorship bullshit. Before you on the main menu have a selection of things to select. Street mode, your campaign mode. Arcade mode, which is really pointless because you can do it on the campaign mode anyway. Multiplayer, whose servers are long shut down. Sign into a thing that no longer works. And quit, which I ain't gonna do until this game pisses me off somehow. Anyway, the main bread and butter of the game is the street mode, where all the features of the game are found, and where most of the review will take place. So, since there is fuck all else to do on the menu, unless you want to change a few things on the options menu, which I highly recommend, let's go race, and it all starts with a phone call.
He what? Oh, hell no! When? Oh, yeah. Man, I told that fool. Yeah, hit me back.
So, this guy, who has no name, so I'm going to call him... Weeb, for he has anime on his car, must bail out some guy from jail. So Weeb trusts us, a nobody, with his prized Skyline GTR for a race tonight. Win the race, split the winnings, and then you buy your own sick whip. Simple, really.
Win this, and you'll have a fat stack to buy a ride. I'll split the winnings with you. Come on, let's go.
And from your first race, two things are obvious. You are racing in the game's equivalent of the Underground Racing League. Secondly, the clear lack of speed and the slippery handling, even though I am driving a four-wheel drive car. Handling is an issue as the cars get more powerful later. And since this is a beginner race, and you are driving a stupendously powerful car, you win quite handedly. After being treated to a dance of victory by some awful looking NPCs taken from the Dreamcast, chatting on how cool you are and if you saw your own race, Weeb gives you $30,000 for you to start your own racing career by getting your first car. No supercars, no muscle cars or hypercars. Most are JDM cars from 7 manufacturers, a very small selection actually compared to other racing games. Toyota, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Mazda and Subaru, with Volkswagen and Lexus thrown in to add a more western flavour to your car choice. And on top of that, the box claims that this game has up to 50 cars for you to stare at, modify, race, then crash into a nearby wall because the braking is fucking crap. That's technically not true, for you have variations of a certain car model. So for example, the 96 Toyota Supra has the SSR, the 3-litre AE, the 3-litre Targa SE, the twin turbo AE, and the RZ. With each variant getting faster and faster as you unlock them during your racing career. My first chariot of fire is ready to go. With that choice done, I set off into the underground world of racing. And as you drive out of the garage into the open world racecourse, you'll probably realise the visuals are okay, depending on what you are looking at. The maps are fine, if very small compared to, first of many comparisons now, Need for Speed Underground 2. You'll mostly spend your time, fuel and racing career within the nighttime streets of Los Angeles. A neon-covered, pixelated skyline advertisement heavy area filled with shops with self-made drive-thrus, the beach, an interconnecting highway that looks very familiar to people who have played games in other renditions of LA, and places where the rich gather and you to race, improve your car and hide. One can see the similarities to Bayview from Underground 2, albeit its significantly smaller size compared to the former, and being a lot emptier with the occasional street racer cruising around for a challenge, even if it is the same car that appears around the corner 7 times in a row.
We have a perpetrator of a 510. We've lost victim. What is this shit?
But Los Angeles is one of 2 places you will race during your time in this game. You'll also race in the nighttime streets of Philadelphia. More business-centric vibe that clashes with the street racing attitude and setting as you race within the downtown area. And yet the game doesn't race in the west part of Philly, where a certain song should have played as you raced. Come on game, you missed an opportunity. And then you have Miami, or a small segment of it. Oh, and it's sunny, and during the day, which is amazing. It's colourful with a very beautiful early evening sunset vibe. And that's it. It's just a highway and the buildings block the view to the beach. You will also notice that they are empty, barring the very sparse traffic and fellow street racers, of course, driving like law-abiding citizens. But compared to Underground 2, it doesn't feel alive or lived in. Remember when you first drove through Bayview? The lights are bright and warm, inviting and opulent, barring various adverts, including noodles for some reason. The streets are packed with traffic and mischievous racers driving around in monstrosities. And it felt more alive. Then compare that to SRS. It's a night and day difference, no pun intended. But one thing that SRS does very well is the car models. And with the backing and approval of the car's manufacturers to allow their appearances in-game, Namco did a really good job. They have a high quality appearance and each car variant has more sporty add-ons, subtly indicating each variant is an upgrade as you progress further and further into the game. Car modding is also excellent, albeit very limited. The colour selection is vibrant, yet very limited in choice, with up to 8 colours per car. And the body kits are based on the real world counterparts and they look aesthetically pleasing. A point for SRS over NFS, as NFS's body kits have some horrible appearances. I mean, what the fuck is that? But SRS has that points taken away again, as you only have 1. And they all come as a singular kit, not individual parts, taking away customization freedom from the player. And to make your street racing chariot of fire more of your own, there are plenty of cosmetics to add on. Glow sticks to give the mechanic a tan as he works.
Oh, it's just like fucking Spain, man.
Fat ass rims. The biggest racing wings that is absolutely necessary on every car regardless of its horsepower. Then you can also add sponsors to your car. And then you can add some body vinyls from modern art, fire and anime for the added weed power and sex appeal. Helps you pull the ladies. And despite all the modifications, I kinda went for a team colour of black and green. You might see that team colour show up again in other racing games I might review. Keep your eyes open. And the game has a very surprisingly good damage model. The glass cracks and the body warps and twists with every impact. And at the end of some races, your car can look awful. A physical tax write-off. It's no Wreckfest or BeamNG Drive levels of bodily car edge. but it's still good. The game also has a cool repair animation as the body kit reverses itself into a perfect shape. Really funny when after races the bystanders look at all to the sorcery before their eyes. And the NPC's cars look alright. Not alright when they screw up your race. Pricks. But when there is the alright, there is the abhorrent. And these NPCs are very abhorrent. Even when compared to other games from 2004. Not like SRS is the only one, even Need for Speed Underground 2 has some freaks that'll make you point and say what the fuck. The animation for these lot, either celebrating your hard-earned victory or scoffing at your defeat, is smooth. Sure as hell don't look great, a very low quality appearance, almost PS1 in style if it was more pixelated. And it doesn't help that they are constantly recycled or reused, for both the NPCs and the girlfriends you try to woo. Yeah, these NPCs look awful. So overall, the visuals are incredibly mixed. The maps you drive across are okay, varying in quality and colour palette, but it doesn't help that they are tiny and void of NPC activity. The cars, on the other hand, look great and have a very high visual fidelity. Then there's the NPCs. Yeah, no. Just no. Even for 2004, they look awful. So yeah, really mixed. Speaking of sound, there really isn't much to write home about, apart from the fact it's not great. Except the music, which is alright and extremely rap heavy with tracks from the artists like Eastside Cult, Cold Cut, DJ Brownie and Illegal Substance. Pleasant sounding bunch, alongside a few rock tracks thrown in to diversify your musical experience as you race and pimp your rides. And on top of that, the game also has backing from radio stations from the cities you play across. Even though there is no physical radio stations to listen to whatsoever, at least there's a sense of authenticity and realism as Los Angeles' Power FM 106, Philadelphia's Y100 and Miami's Power 96 grace the billboards on the tracks you race across, rather than some fictitious EA tracks. So 2000s. Not the kind of soundtrack the Warlord would listen to when not playing the game, but a street racing game without rap, electronic or rock music as you drive around like an absolute menace is doing something very wrong and would make the game feel more naked without it. However, you'll notice from the footage that there is no music playing, apart from booting the game up for the first time. Not the game's fault, but I can't play it for YouTube will have a fucking hissy fit if so much as 3 seconds of a song is played before striking me down with a copyright notice. So, I played this game in absolute musical silence. I do not recommend. And not just because it makes the world seem emptier, the car modding less intriguing and the race less exhilarating, but the fact is now your ears are free to pick up some very grating sound effects. There is not a lot of sound effects used in this game, and over the course of your sessions you will notice they are reused so much. In fact, repetition will become a major issue with this game overall, but it's not to say that they sound awful, in fact it's the opposite, it's freaking good, making the cars sound obviously mechanical, yet more powerful as you upgrade them further. The revving of the engines, the shifting of the gears, the bass throbbing of the exhaust, the gassy exhale of the nitrous, it makes the cars sound like monsters if fully modified. And then when you do goof up, trust me it's bound to happen, you'll notice the twisting and warping of metal, the shattering of glass, the screeching of tyres skidding, and the unhappy honking of pissed off motorists. But over the course of the game, you will notice that the sound effects will repeat. There is no differential in sound effects, even when crashing your vehicle. The game uses a very small library of sound effects, thus solidifying the complaint of repetition that exacerbates the game. Then there's the audio glitches that just get more noticeable the more you play. Only one I have noticed though is the cheering crowds and the sanctioned events and the engine revs just cutting off randomly, then starting up again. But to be honest, that's the only glitch I've heard, which is good. So, to finish off the sound section really quickly, the quality is okay. but when it is used over and over and over again, it can grate and make me wish they had a more expansive sound library to utilise, which is something I never really think about nor expect myself to add to my reviews. The music is brilliant though, very jet set radio future kind of music, you know? You listen to it in game and it just fits, but outside game I wouldn't really listen to. But I had to turn it off due to YouTube not wanting to hear it on my video, so that's crap. So, the gameplay of this game, especially when compared to other racing games released around the same time, is very simple in design. As you progress through your illustrious racing career, you'll notice a pattern as you play. Buy car, race, buy parts, repair vehicle, do some side activity, repeat until you win the game. That's it really. The main bread and butter of the game is, of course, the racing. But unlike other games of its ilk, there is only 3 event types. The only thing changing is the maps you race across and how many fellow street racers you compete against. Oh, and the difficulty. You have circuit racing, drag racing, and point-to-point racing. No drifting, strangely. Team racing, stunt events, traffic or driver killing stuff, just stock, plain simple, following the book racing. And for the most part, it is fine. 95% of the races are in a tournament setting, with 6 street racing tournaments and 2 sanctioned events. Think of Underground 2's Underground Racing League, with each tournament having 3 races, though each tournament is limited by how powerful a car can be, though that can easily be abused for easy victories. Score points by finishing within the podium places and win, but at the same time, you must earn respect by doing stunts, so jumps, drifts, near misses and so on. You know, like playing Burnout, or simply staying ahead of the competition. The more respect you get, the more tournaments you unlock. Finish them all, you win the game. Very simple. And although you win prize money in these races, there's nothing wrong with gaining a bit more cash. Before a race you can place a bet against a fellow racer, or flash, with your car, in the streets. Simple really, win the race, you get the bank. You lose, you're a little bit poorer. And just when you think you are awarded enough with money, respect and the admiration of your fans, you get to see your replays. Now normally, replays don't mean much to me, but the camera angles and some of the effects used really speak for themselves. Whoever was filming the replays really should have been fired. Whilst they get some of the shots right with following your car, other shots miss nearly everything worthy of a replay. A major crash, a great overtake, or winning the race by a very small margin? Sorry, here's a lingering shot of a street corner. Or action. What action? Oh, sorry, missed it. But as you watch more of any replay, and after pressing the spacebar by the way, you'll be accosted, partially blinded, and surprised as your replays end up with different overlays. It's very chaotic without much substance, like a first-time editor using these overlays because they look cool. Yet, seeing this triggered a memory of Sega GT 2002's replay editor from back in the day. Oh, these bring back some memories. I only used it a few times back then, but damn does it bring me back to simpler times. It even has the same layers to use as well, which made me smile at the nostalgia. Overall, the gameplay is fine. Nearly enough what you expect from a racing game. But is there any issues? And if so, what is it? Simple. Everything else. Mostly the AI, but there are a few other niggles with this game. Besides the fact the game's structure is incredibly repetitive to the point it becomes a routine rather than an activity of race, repair, minigame, race, then repeat, the races themselves get very repetitive as you will notice you will race some tracks repeatedly. Keep that word in mind for the main criticism of this game. Repetitive. In fact, in some tournaments I would race on the same track in the following race that I raced on literally the last race. Just seriously. There are very few tracks overall in the game, numbering about only 15. And in some bet races, it would be on the same point-to-point circuit in every attempt you do. And as you progress later, these races become utterly bullshit as your opponents boost their way to victory, and race perfectly without so much as a cut corner. Speaking of boost very quickly, you have limited boost. Use it strategically, for once it's gone, yeah, it's gone. No infinite boost like other racing games, like Burnout or Need for Speed, nor do you gain it back by driving like a 12-point license holder. Nope, you go to the shops and buy more of what you want, just like real life. Your opponents don't though. Fucking bullshit. Speaking of your opponents, fuck them. The AI is a piece of shit in both ways, as either being far too easy to race against early on, or, yet as you progress to the championship races, they become incredibly aggressive and uncompromising, making races absolute crapshoots, literally gambling your sanity and patience. In races, the AI have some dirty tricks up their programming. Their racing aggression is amped up and they will pit maneuver you or simply smash you out of the way, costing you a few seconds, places and money in the repair bill. So irritated was this, I just lost composure and started smashing my opponents off the road like it's Burnout 3. Shall we get rewarded with a crap replay, an expensive repair bill and no extra boost? What else? Rubber banding! Of course, the most dreaded of all tricks in any racing game. You know how it goes. You drive a clean lap, leaving the opposition eating your dust, then at the final straight on the last lap, they've gained so much ground you're wondering if they have FTL drives instead of carbon combustion engines. Oh, and the AI's infinite nitro. That's not fair. Now combine that with the grind to open the last few tournaments with the knowledge of how aggressive the AI is that it can compound your ability to earn more respect points. Yeah, it's defeated me in the end. I couldn't take it anymore, after nearly 11 hours of gameplay. The racing in this racing game broke my patience, and I threw in the towel. Sorry folks. But there are more things to do in this game. As you drive across LA, you'll come across respect challenges and women to woo. These respect challenges, consisting of doing stunts, following their cars and checkpoint races, are stupendously easy. With 15 women to find, like Pokemon, you can get them all, store them in your warehouse and live a life of polygamy. There are no penalties or weird side stories to do if you have more than one. A real missed opportunity there, really. So what do you do with your ladies? Take them with you to the races and see them count down a race and call you a super duper dude when you win.
You're the man.
Hey, thanks.
When enough times, then they give you a sexy prize.
Have I ever shown you what a real woman can do?
Talking about sex, right?
No, not sex, but dance videos. You know how it goes. It's something to write about. Oh yeah, there's also police and their subsequent chases. But if you are expecting an early example of an NFS Most Wanted police chase involving many units, traps and vehicles, you will be sorrowfully disappointed. For one, you don't even have to be driving before the police decide to chase you down. Assholes. The police may throw down a few tricks at you with teleporting police cars and a one-van roadblock. Good job, boys. But there really is no tactic to outrun the police. Just simply drive fast, have a modified car and don't fucking crash. These chases end as quickly as they start, especially later in the game, but early on, you could be driving cleanly, but since you're slow, they'll catch you and give you a speeding fine.
Our custody. Over.
So overall, despite the spongy crash physics and slippery car controls, the gameplay is... it's fine. Early on, it's fun, comical, confusing, and enjoyable for the most part. But as the game progresses further, with faster cars, coupled with the bullshit AI, unfair police, highly repetitive campaign, and the grind to unlock the last few races, it just makes the game a chore to play to the point of making me stop altogether. Yeah, quite a downer of an ending, really. Anyway, let's round this broadcast up. To conclude this broadcast, let's just say I'm glad I played Burnout 3 over this game back in the day. Don't get me wrong, it was fun to start off with. But the constant grind, the repetitiveness of the campaign, and the unfair and sometimes bullying AI can break the game for those who either have no patience or nearly everyone else. Would I recommend this game then? No. In fact, I even watched other reviews of this game and I noticed they only get as far as like the first 3-4 hours. Now I know why they don't play any further. Anyway, no. I don't recommend this game. But at an extremely cheap price of only £2.09, it's cheap enough for you to not worry about wasting money, but at the same time, you get what you paid for, so be my guest. You're not gaining much, but you're not losing much either. Anyways, that's it for my broadcast. Thank you all for your patience and stay tuned for further programming. Oh yeah, and be sure to like and subscribe and look at my Facebook channel if you want. I mean, if you want. Next time I'm doing some Kung Fu fighting. What Kung Fu fighting? Well, stay tuned and find out. So until next time, this is the Warlord, signing out.